Inside Sources.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Where KSL offers Utah deeper insights on the news. Host Boyd Matheson divides rage from reason
And elevates the conversation on issues crucial to our community.
on KSL News Radio 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
We're continuing our broadcast from the Utah Valley Growth and Prosperity Summit. We are right here on the campus of Utah Valley University, and Utah Valley University really is at the heart of Utah Valley and has become a gathering place for leaders, for thought leaders, not just from Utah and not just across the country, but around the world. It really is part of Utah being a not just crossroads to the west, but crossroads to the world. And always pleased to be down here on the Utah Valley University campus, and always extra happy when we get to speak with President Astrid Tuminez. Welcome, President.
Thank you, Boyd. It's great to have you here on campus in person.
In person. We get to do this live today, which is a great thing. This is round number 2 of the Growth and Prosperity Summit down here. Tell us about the gathering, why this is so important to what you're doing at Utah Valley University.
Yes, so when Curtis Blair was made the head of the Utah Valley Chamber, we actually sat together a couple of times to share a vision of how we want the university to interact with industry and the community. And one of the things that I've learned in my past lives and careers in places like Singapore and New York is that universities really have powerful ways to convene people, to facilitate dialogue. And with all of the growth and changes and technology and startups and all of these things happening in Utah County, I thought that we could collaborate on something like this, a flagship annual conference. Anyone interested in Utah County would have to attend this conference every single year, and it's our second year to do it.
Yeah, and you're already there. People are coming. We were talking about just how these kind of conferences create the bumpability factor of just the hallway conversations are so exciting to watch and see as you have business and academics and all the different aspects of community, government all coming together.
Nonprofits, yes. Everyone's here, 350 participants.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so what are some of the conversations that you've been leaning into in some of those bumpability moments in the hallways?
Well, the first thing I did this morning was to give a keynote. And what I really focused the keynote on was on the role of the university as a resource and partner to the business community. And there were 3 areas that I tackled: natural resources, the workforce, and also healthcare. So some of that bumpability was just in the conversations afterwards. And then I attended 2 sessions, one on education, where we had Brigham Young University, Ensign College, and Utah Valley University. The speaker for UVU was actually our UVUSA president. So she kind of brought home the granularity of the student experience, coming from high school through COVID, what helped her grow, what helped her succeed. And then I attended another session on Utah Lake. And, I actually, in my keynote today, I talked about 2 rivers, the Pasig River in Manila, biologically dead, declared so by scientists, and Singapore River, which one of the most vibrant, beautiful waterways. And I said to the crowd that the difference between these 2 experiences, Pasig River and Singapore River, is the dialogue of the community and the public policy that happened around these rivers. One is kind of say goodbye to it. The other is thriving. So Utah Lake, we had the mayors there, Mayor of Provo, the mayor of Vineyard. And I think, again, a resource. How do you take something as big as Utah Lake, which has been here forever, and how do you preserve it while also allowing the growth to happen in this area? So there were many bumpability moments, and I got a cookie from a company called Crave. So that was my sugar bumpability.
That's awesome. You take those any chance you
Free
can get
cookie,
those. That's a good thing. Well, when you talk about growth, if you look that up in the dictionary today, I think Utah Valley University would be next to the word growth. You have been growing, expanding in buildings, in students, in possibilities, in convening. What's next? I know you should be exhausted, but I know you're just warming up.
There are many, many next things for Utah Valley University. We are going to build a new engineering and technology building, the Scott M. Smith building, and there's a reason for that. 20% of earnings here here are from tech workers. Our mechanical engineering doubled in enrollment in 3 years. Civil and electrical tripled.
Wow.
And so this is all about the workforce. So not only growing our student body, but growing retention and completion and the quality of the student experience. We have such a complicated university in the sense that we accept everyone. So in the classroom, you get students who have a GPA of 1.6 and students with a GPA of 4.0. It makes our work difficult, but also extremely meaningful and extremely inspiring, because we're saying to human potential, come here, come as you are. UVU is a place for you, and we're not going to let you drown. We're really going to do our best to support you in your aspirations, because every human dream matters to us.
Yeah. Wow. I think it's. I think your convening of this summit is both indicative of your experience. You've seen it all from the diplomatic side and the government side, the business side and the academic side, and for anything to thrive and grow and prosper, you got to have all of those coming together in partnership. You seem like the perfect convener for that. But what should we all be thinking about in terms of linking arms for that kind of prosperity?
I think we should all think that we are part of one ecosystem. You know, the rock star Bono of U2 uses the word one. He has a song called One. I think that's a powerful word. What does it mean to be one? This morning, we had Tammy Pfeiffer, formerly from Governor Herbert's office, who talked about the Dignity Index, for example, that this country and this democracy will survive only if we have sufficient respect for one another. And being one means that we can talk about our opportunities and challenges in a rational, evidence-informed way, but also civil, also full of compassion, with the shared goal that we are building something that ought to outlast us and that ought to keep giving to other generations that follow us.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I always notice when I walk on campus here at Utah Valley University, that oneness is not sameness here at Utah Valley, that you value the diversity, you respect all the different perspectives, and that's a great model, not just for Utah Valley, but for the country and for the world.
Yeah, it's actually also very empowering, because if you say you're valid, come as you are, you've already given the person a sense of belonging, a sense of power, that they can be comfortable in their own skin. And only when you're comfortable in your own skin can you really interact very effectively with others and listen and lead as well as follow. Yeah.
One of the interesting things we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks is this whole idea of the Stockdale paradox. When you're facing big challenges, on one hand, you have to have that faith and that confidence that we're going to get past this, we're going to get through this, and you have to face the hard realities and some of the uncomfortable conversation, the day-to-day.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that we ought to be owning and facing just a little bit better?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is simply that as a nation we have become so deeply divided, and our discourse has become so harsh and so not only uncivil but sometimes actually hateful. And I do believe that democracy thrives in the pragmatic middle, not in this extreme. Second, we have to keep the American dream alive. That America is still a land of opportunity. It's still a land that if you work hard, you can get help. So it's not just it's a land of opportunity, bootstrap it all the way. No, you will fall apart.
Yeah.
Mental health is a big issue. So keeping the American dream alive is another thing. And then third, using our resources together, because I think there is more power. So when I think about this summit and I see nonprofits here, I see professors here, I see university leaders here, then I also see business leaders and government, I think it's exactly this kind of synergy and sincerity coming into that we really want to listen, we really want to learn.
Yeah.
We have to be learn-it-alls, not know-it-alls. And to be pragmatic, we can disagree on many things, but what are 2 or 3 things where we agree that if we did that together, the outcomes will be better than if we just did it alone.
Oh, love that. Don't be a know-it-all, be a learn-it-all. I love that. I love that. We're adding that to the program. President Astrid Tuminez, always a pleasure, always a treat to have you on the air. Even better to do it in person and to do it right here at Utah Valley University. Again, we're down here broadcasting till the top of the hour at the Utah Valley Growth and Prosperity Summit. As President Tuminez said, this is the place for the conversation when it comes to growth and the future prosperity and thriving of all of us here in Utah County. President, thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.